Well, hello, it's Jay here with another Bible review for you. And today, what I'd like to start to look at is a journaling Bible. Now, I do actually write in quite a lot of my Bibles, and I do make notes. So I was interested in a journaling Bible. My main Bible, which I do those things in, is called the Illuminated ESV Bible. I will have to get that out to do a review of that at some point. But this one is one that I use for a different kind of purpose because during the COVID lockdown, when people couldn't get out, I did hear of a guy who made it his lockdown project to summarize the entire Bible. So, what he would do would be read a chapter of the Bible, and then just in a journaling pad, he would summarize that chapter of the Bible in his own words. And over the course of the COVID pandemic, by the time it finished, he had a pad with a complete summary of the Bible in his own words, chapter by chapter. And I thought that sounded like a great idea to do. And I decided to try to do that, but in this particular journaling Bible. So it's the ESV Journaling Bible, cloth overboard. This one is an antique floral design, ESV. Okay, it's not the most manly looking Bible, but I think I got it at a good price, so I'm comfortable with it. So there's the information that you might need to know. So this one was $49.99 US dollars. I looked on Crossway website. I couldn't see this particular one anymore, but they do have other hardbacks, floral designs if you want that. They also have a cheaper, slightly cheaper one at $39.99, which is still available, which is called Original Black. There's the information. Whoop. Try and focus on this one. It's not for, there it is. So this one you can still get at $39.99, £21 in the UK. It's hardback Trutone overboard. It is nice. I do prefer the look of this one. This is sort of printed in, so you can feel how that is pressed in. It's just black on the back, but it does have this elastic, so you can hook your pen in there and you can keep it closed. But I haven't used this yet. The text block's exactly the same, and I've got a different purpose in mind for this, which I'll tell you in a moment. But first of all, let's find out the features of this. So it's the Journaling Bible, the ESV. Now, I've had this one for a couple of years, so it was brand new when I got it. But because it's been in and out of here a bit, the box, the sort of slip case is starting to show signs of wear and tear. But the Journaling Bible, with its unique wide margin ruled format, the ESV Journaling Bible encourages your conversation with God and enhances your personal study of the Bible. It has a 7-point type, which is the ESV Crossway Lexicon typeface, cream-coloured paper, footnotes that clarify translation questions and other issues. It's got one ribbon marker, 2-inch ruled margins, ideal for capturing notes, prayers, or personal reflections. Introductions that provide an overview to each book of the Bible. Okay, so there it is. I think I showed you that already. So we'll take it. There's the back of the antique looking cover that's on it. So let's get it out of here. Okay, so there it is. So you can see it's quite an ornate kind of looking cover. It's not really big. It's quite lightweight, but taking the width of it, it's just under 6.5 inches. Top to bottom, it's just under 7.5 inches. So it's fairly square. And then on the back, it's about 1.25 inches thick. This one has 4, you can see the raised hubs. just to give it that sort of antique book looking design. And because it is a hardback, you could stand it up in a bookcase without really harming it, because it's not big enough for the weight of the text block to really pull down away from the spine. It's that's got a kind of material feel to it, and that's a sort of Trutone fake leather pebbled effect with the stitching around it. So it is quite a nice thing. When you open it up, you've got matte cardstock with one type sort of presentation page this Bible belongs to. Because it's matte, you can write what you want on there and it won't smudge. When you come through then, you've got an invitation to the Journaling Bible. So a little bit about the Bible there. Then we've got the first title page. Then we've got the copyright page, so it's the 2016 edition of the ESV, which is important. And I would say if you're going to get one in the 2016 while you can, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Printed in China, RRDS. Okay, so cream coloured paper. Now, the camera, iPhone 13, always makes the ghosting and show through look worse than it is, but it's not at all bad, it's not an issue. So you can see that I've highlighted in this in a yellow highlighter. Now that's just a standard one that you buy at any shop. It's not a special one for Bible paper. But when we go over, you can see a little bit where I've done it, but it's not too bad. And this is a Bible that's supposed to be used, supposed to be written in, so I'm not worried about it. So the Old Testament, I've just put dates here when I finished reading the book that I finished reading and highlighted them there. So I haven't made massive inroads into this as yet, but then why read the Bible? What the Bible says about, and there's a whole host of alphabetical topics: demons, discernment, divorce, discipleship, companionship, anxiety, where you can find texts about those issues: idolatry, immorality. So we go through a few pages of that: sin, singleness, just alphabetical, before we get to the preface of the ESV. So continue through that preface. Then we've got, after the preface, the features of this. So there is an introduction to each book of the Bible, but that's found at the back of the Bible, and they're very short introductions. Section headings throughout the text, which are obviously not part of the text but added to help you. Textual footnotes, the full ESV textual footnote system is there, which is great. And also a light rendition of cross-references. So really it's just to highlight where the Old Testament is quoted in the New. It'll tell you where the quote comes from. Where there are parallel passages in the Gospels, it'll tell you where. So useful ones, but it's not a reference Bible. It's not the full ESV reference system. There's an introduction to the Old Testament, and then we're basically just getting right into it. So 2 inches of very faintly lined, so full 2 inches, slightly more than that even, but a full 2 inches. And basically what I've been doing here is chapter 2, so highlight chapter 2, and I've just summarized in my own words chapter 2 of Genesis in blue biro, just ordinary biro. Chapter 3, change from blue to black. Chapter 3, okay. Chapter 4, so I go from black to blue. So I go, alternate colors on alternate chapters, and I just work my way through. So I read the chapter first of all, read the chapter, highlight anything that sort of strikes me in the chapter. Then, chapter 6, summarize the chapter. Chapter 7, the same, change color ink. And that's the way my plan is to do the whole Bible. So when I say summarize the chapter, I'm summarizing the chapter in my own words. What I'm not doing is, putting my, emotions and thoughts and feelings and responses and prayers to God. Nothing like that. This is simply summarizing the Bible. So eventually I will have, I experimented a bit with different colors there, but eventually, God willing, I will have summarized the whole Bible chapter by chapter in my own words. Okay, so that is my plan for this particular one. So I've gone through certain books, but not others. So we've got a bit of highlighting with the plagues and just summaries of the different plagues, etc. So if you, like that guy who did it in the COVID lockdown, felt like summarizing the Bible in that way, this particular journaling Bible is a very good way to do that, because you don't have loads of information. It's not something you want to spend ages on. It is just a summary, so you can do it that way. And the other one that I've got in preparation, this is the one where once I've done this, then I'll go through the Bible again, but this time I will be not summarizing at all. I'll be writing thoughts, feelings, reflections, challenges, etc. More personal it will be in this one. Okay, so, but what I want to tell you about this is, and why I mentioned the 2016 text is, Crossway, as you know, updated the text in 2025. Now, there's some very, very minor changes, none of which make me want to get the 2025 text, because I'm familiar with the 16. I'm familiar with the little anomalies in the 16, which, I know about them, and whether I fully agree or not, I'm aware of them, and I don't feel the need to change, because some of them have been changed back, by Crossway. And so I'm happy with the 16, particularly with this Bible, because this Bible, text block, double column, paragraph format, 7-point font, this is the identical pagination to the best-selling ESV, the ESV Thinline, okay, which is a Bible I really like. So the ESV Thinline Bible 26 edition text, the pagination is identical. So here we've got the page numbers at the bottom, page 981. Page 981. So if you look, let's see if we can get this here. So first word is ing, end of the other word, him again, and then less anxious up here. Ing, him again, less anxious. Bottom of the page, for many of whom I, the ESV Thinline, for many of whom I. Textual footnotes, beginning, or slave, and sisters. Here, or slave, and sisters. It's the same text block. So when I'm reading, highlighting, summarizing, becoming familiar with this text block, I'm already familiar with it because it is the exact same text block as I'm used to in my ESV Thinline Bible. So this I have preached from, notes on here, because there was a little bit of space to do it in Philemon. So when I come in this one, say to, I haven't actually, I don't think I've done Philemon. Oh yeah, I have, yeah. Philemon. So same familiar layout, but you've got the 2-column, you've got that extra bit. But if you didn't, that's the only difference is what I'm getting at. So I'm getting familiar with the pagination, with the layout, and even better, then, so let's go back to Philippians. So Philippians in the Thinline, 8-point font. Philippians in the Journaling Bible, 7-point font. The ESV Compact Bible, Philippians, 6-point font. Exactly the same layout. Page 981. Oh, sorry, I've got that still at Philemon. Get back to Philippians. So Philippians, page 981. At the top, exactly. Oh, so let's go to here. So Philippians, Paul, chapter 1, Paul, down the bottom, proclaimed, and in that I rejoice. Footnotes for the contextual rendering. Okay, journaling, 7-point font. Compact, 6-point font. I, Paul, down the bottom, proclaimed, and in that I rejoice, for the contextual rendering. So this one, Philippians, highlighted by me, sat in a coffee shop, thinking about it, reading it through. 6-point font, readable with my reading glasses on, compact, easy to carry around, in the coffee shop, highlighting it, becoming familiar with the layout as I read it slowly and think about it. Then, Journaling Bible, same layout, this time 7-point font, 1 point bigger. I'm summarizing it, also getting that familiarity with the layout. Then, ESV Thinline Bible, 8-point font, exactly the same layout. So those three kind of work together, which is great. But what Crossway have done, I've looked on their website, the Compact Bible remains the same at the moment. The Journaling Bible remains the same at the moment. The ESV Thinline Bible 2025 update is now with us. Pagination is different because they've gone from this 8-point font to an 8.5 font. The size of the Bible's the same, it's just a bit thicker. So what it means is it's a different pagination. So I assume that at some point they will probably update this to the 2025. I don't know what will happen with the pagination. There's a single column that's already been updated, but it's much thicker. So I prefer the double column because it's the same pagination, plus it's not as thick. The compact, will they update that also? Probably. So if you want to get these three, if you can get them in the 2016, you know that you've got a 6-point, a 7-point, and an 8-point of exactly the same layout. So you can get used to that layout. Now, just to show you at the end of this Bible, the features that I had mentioned or hadn't perhaps. There's a reading plan, read the Bible in 1 year, which is useful. There is the introductions to the book. So the ones that I've done my reflection or my summary of the book, I've ticked appropriately. But you've got all the 66 books of the Bible in there. You've also got the plan of salvation, which is a good summary of the gospel that comes straight after the end of Revelation. So you can see how there is that just faint line to guide you, but when you're actually writing, it almost seems to disappear, but it just keeps you on the straight, the straight and pretty narrow 2-inch margin. So there we are. I hope this has been of some use and interest to you. I think it's a good thing that I've been trying to do, because having to summarize a chapter in such a sort of small space does make you think about the main points of that chapter, and they stick in your mind by doing this. So God willing, at some point I'll have summarized the whole Bible, and then in that same layout that I'm so familiar with, this one will be more the personal emotional challenges and the things that are more just between me and God will be in this one. Okay, well, God bless you wherever you are. The rain has started here, and it's time for me to stop and go collect the kids. So thanks a lot. God bless. Bye now.